Hi, Nancy.
So we get to talk about dark matter, but first I'm going to start with you, Blake. How does it feel to have another adapted project of yours on screen?
It's so exciting. It's such a hard thing. It feels like there's a million TV shows out there and movies, but it truly is so hard, and so many things have to happen to get something to screen. So I just feel incredibly fortunate and just grateful for everyone, Matt, everyone who worked on this show to help make this happen.
Matt was involved in making this happen. So what was it about this project that was like, I got to be a part of it and make it happen?
I mean, honestly, from the first page of the partial manuscript that I read in 2014, I felt it was not just a story that kept me riveted, because Blake's writing does that. It was just a story that I felt very personally connected to. That it posed a question or questions that, if I'm being honest, I'll speak for myself, I've asked many times, big questions about, who am I and what are the choices that I've made, and what if I had chosen differently? I was just captivated by the sort of the honesty of the questions that it asked.
That's true. As a viewer, as we're watching, it's like, are we happy with where we're at, what we're doing? Are we living a boring life?
Right, right. I mean, and I think everybody, yeah, and even if the answer is, a good one or whatever it is, we all wrestle with that stuff, probably now more than ever.
Exactly. So Blake, how did you even come up with this dark matter universe?
It actually came from like 3 different ideas that I had been wrestling with over like a 5 or 6 year period, and one involved this character that was like sort of lost in time and trying to get home, and I didn't really know what that meant. One thread was like the idea of clones and multiple versions of the same character, but what really like made it all come together was just this image of this box in a warehouse with these lights shining down on it. And I was in Chicago in 2000 and like early 2014. I was meeting with a friend of mine, Marcus Saki, who's a novelist, and we get together and brainstorm when we're in the sort of inception phase of a novel. And we were at this bar, as writers sometimes do, one afternoon, and like we were talking, and just suddenly all these 3 pieces just clicked together. And I was like, this guy who made this choice many years ago, and he diverged, and one version built this thing, one version was a family man, and they kind of switched places, and it was one of them like hairs on the back of your neck moments as a creator, of just pure inspiration. That does not happen often.
Oh, gotta visit the bar more often, right?
I keep going back, but I just keep going back.
Just getting drunk.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the cast. I'm pretty sure there was a lot of people you had in mind to play Amanda, to play Jason 1 and 2, especially Jason 1 and 2. Daniela, can you talk to me how you guys kind of narrowed it down?
Interestingly enough, Joel reached out before we started casting and really thinking about casting Jason. I mean, usually the process is you come up with a list of names and you go to people and they read and they like it or don't and you move on. But before we ever started casting, we had an incoming call, and Joel had read the book and heard there was a show getting put together, and we got on a call, and it was just this amazing mind meld of seeing the show the same way. And he came on, and then we started looking at Daniela and Amanda, and it's like our top choices just said yes.
Yeah. I mean, and it's funny, the call with Joel, it's like, he's just, for him, he was just having a Zoom with some people, hopefully nice people, about this great book. We, of course, were watching Jason.
Yeah.
And seeing him, just embody that character in front of us. It was just sort of a magical thing.
Because I mean, you have these sort of these, I don't know, icebreaker, get to know you calls, just to sort of see the chemistry. It's not an audition. It's more of how can you work with this person? Like, what do you think? And when it goes well, you just see them become the character in front of your eyes.
That's right.
And that happened with everyone.
Yeah.
Big character is the box. How did you create the box, the whole location to reflect all these multi-universe doors?
So that was, I would say, the first thing we did after the green light. We hired this incredible production designer named Patricio Farrell, and of course, the first order of business is the box, and it's described in the book as a 12 by 12 foot cube. So immediately we started thinking about all other versions of what it could be, and we went through like literally 100 possible ideas of what the box could look like. And we came back to this cube with a few little added things, like for a moment we toyed with it being reflective, but that would have been impossible to film. You would see the crew and everything. It would be a huge imposition. And for the corridor, we built this 90-foot, we built a 90-foot corridor. It needed to be long enough so characters could truly like build up to a run through it. And Patricio did this really smart thing, which he built these, they call it pilasters, which are these little like protruding beams every 12 feet. And it helped to give the feeling of real distance, because we always knew we'd be using VFX extensions to make it look like it was going off into infinity. And having that design was so smart because it really helped lend that effect. And million discussions about what is that material that we're going to put on the exterior, that metal. We spent probably more time on the box than anything else.
Yeah, it's a fascinating thing because it's one of those things where you want it to be specific. Obviously, it is something that that is the creation of the show, but you want it to be general enough that because everybody who reads this projects their own. I mean, it's the same thing when you're casting. It is casting. You project your own version of what that box is. So, but I think specifically with a box, it has to live in the specific and in the general.
Yeah.
And
when weirdly enough, the dimensions in the book, which I had just thrown out there, 12 by 12 feet, we played with all different sizes. That turned out to be the dimensions we used for the show. And it was cool because it doesn't sound big, but when you approach it like on set, it had this presence about it. It had this, I don't know, it's
like
weird.
A monolith.
It's like a monolith.
Yeah.
It's like a monolith.
No, it's sort of awesome to see it.
One of the coolest moments is like walking on for the first time when it was finished and you walk up to it, and everyone would always go in there and play games and stuff. It's hilarious.
Well, I mean, I enjoyed watching the characters go in there. So
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it was. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time. Congratulations.
It's going
to be a fun watch for everyone. I got into 5 episodes, so I can't wait to finish.
Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for doing this.
Thank you. Bye-bye.